Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Eat, Breathe and Pray. It is Sunday, the 20th of April of 2025, and it is currently 7:05 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States of America. And we are here for our Through the Bible in 1 Year reading. Today is day 110 of Through the Bible in 1 Year. And we are reading from Jeremiah. Let's see. Yes, Jeremiah 17, chapter 17 Jeremiah chapter 17 through 21. But before we get started, let's just take a moment to still ourselves before the Lord. Father, we thank you and praise you for today. That today is a day of miracles. Today is a day of wonder. Today is a day of your presence. We enter into your presence, setting aside everything else that would distract us from your voice, from hearing your voice, from seeing your face. We come before you. We present ourselves to you as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable in the beloved. This is the beginning of our service of worship to you today. Press in to know you, and we worship you. We thank you for your word. That it is living and active and sharper than any two-edged sword. Your word speaks. We thank you and praise you. Lord, Yahweh, our God, we worship you. Speak to us each now by your word. Jeremiah 17 through 21. The sin of Judah is written down with an iron stylus. With a diamond point it is engraved upon the tablet of their heart and on the horns of their altars. As they remember their children, so they remember their altars and their Asherim by the green trees on the high hills. O mountain of mine, in the countryside, I will give over your wealth and all of your treasures for plunder, your high places for sin throughout your borders, and you will even of yourself let go of your inheritance that I gave you. And I will make you serve your enemies in the land which you do not know, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which will burn forever. Thus says Yahweh, cursed is the man who trusts in mankind and makes flesh his strength, and whose heart turns away from Yahweh. And he will be like a juniper in the desert, and he will not see when prosperity comes, but will dwell in stony wastes and in the wilderness. a land of salt which is not inhabited. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yahweh and whose trust is Yahweh. And he will be like a tree planted by the water that sends forth its roots by a stream and will not fear when the heat comes. But its leaves will be green, and it will not be anxious in a year of drought, nor refrain from yielding fruit. The heart is more deceitful than all else and is desperately sick. Who can know it? I, Yahweh, search the heart. I test the inmost being, even to give to each man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. As a partridge that hatches eggs, which it has not laid, so is he who makes a fortune, but unjustly. In the midst of his days it will forsake him, and in the end he will be a wicked fool. A glorious throne on high from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. O Yahweh, the hope of Israel, all who forsake you will be put to shame. Those who turn away on earth will be written down, because they have forsaken the fountain of living water, even Yahweh. Heal me, O Yahweh, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are my praise. Behold, they keep saying to me, where is the word of Yahweh? Let it come now. But as for me, I have not hurried away from being a shepherd after you, nor have I longed for the sickening day. You yourself know that the utterance of my lips was in your presence. Do not be a terror to me. You are my refuge in the day of calamity. Let those who pursue me be put to shame. But as for me, let me not be put to shame. Let them be dismayed, but let me not be dismayed. Bring on them a day of calamity and crush them with twofold crushing. Thus Yahweh said to me, go and stand in the public gate through which the kings of Judah come in and out, as well as in all of the gates of Jerusalem. And say to them, listen to the word of Yahweh, kings of Judah and all inhabitants of Jerusalem who come through these gates. Thus says Yahweh, take care of yourselves and do not carry any load on the Sabbath day or bring anything in through the gates of Jerusalem. For you shall not bring a load out of your houses on the Sabbath day, nor do any work, but keep the Sabbath day holy as I commanded your fathers. Yet they did not listen or incline their ears, but stiffened their neck in order not to listen or receive discipline. But it will be, if you listen carefully to me, declares Yahweh, to bring no load in through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but to keep the Sabbath day holy by doing no work on it. Then there will come in through the gates of this city kings and princes sitting on the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And this city will be inhabited forever. And they will come in from the cities of Judah and from all around, from the hill country. Jerusalem, from the land of all around Jerusalem, from the land of Benjamin and from Shephelah, from the hill country and from the Negev, bringing burnt offerings, sacrifices, grain offerings, and frankincense, and bringing sacrifices of thanksgiving to the house of Yahweh. But if you do not listen to me to keep the Sabbath day holy, but by not carrying a load and coming in through the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then I will kindle a fire in its gates, and it will devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and not be quenched. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will make you hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he was making something on the wheel. But the vessel that he was making of clay was ruined in the hand of the potter. So he turned around and made it into another vessel, according to what was right in the eyes of the potter to make. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Can I not, O house of Israel, deal with you as this potter does? Declares Yahweh. Behold, like the clay in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel. As at a moment I might speak concerning a nation or concerning a kingdom, or to uproot, to tear down, or to make it perish. But if that nation against which I have spoken turns from its evil, I will relent concerning the calamity I plan to do against it. Or at another moment, I might speak concerning a nation or concerning a kingdom to build up or to plant it. But if it does evil in my sight by not listening to my voice, then I will relent concerning the good which I promised to do good to it. So now then, speak to the men of Judah and against the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I am forming calamity against you and devising a plan against you. O turn back, each of you, from his evil way, and do good in your ways and your deeds. But they will say, It's hopeless, for we are going to follow our own plans, and each of us will act according to the stubbornness of his evil heart. Therefore, thus says Yahweh, Ask now among the nations, who ever heard the like of this? The Virgin of Israel has done a most appalling thing. Does the snow of Lebanon forsake the rock of the open country? Or is the cold flowing water from a strange land ever uprooted? For my people have forgotten me. They burn incense to worthless gods, and they have stumbled from their ways, from the ancient paths, to walk in bypaths, not on a highway, to make the land an object of horror, an object of perpetual hissing. Everyone who passes by it will be horrified and shake his head. Like an east wind, I will scatter them before the enemy. I will show them my back and not my face in the day of their disaster. Then they said, Come and let us devise plans against Jeremiah. Surely the law is not going to perish from the priest, nor counsel to the wise man, nor the divine word to the prophet. Come on and let us strike at him with our tongue, and let us give no heed to any of his words. Do give heed to me, O Yahweh, and listen to the voice of those who contend against me. Should good be repaid with evil? For they have dug a pit for me. Remember how I stood before you to speak good on their behalf, so as to turn away your wrath from them. Therefore give their children over to famine, and deliver them up to the power of the sword, and let their wives become childless and widowed. Let their men also be smitten to death, their young men struck down by the sword in battle. May an outcry be heard from their houses when you suddenly bring raiders upon them, for they have dug a pit to capture me and hidden snares for my feet. Yet you, O Yahweh, know all their deadly counsel against me. Do not atone for their iniquity or blot out their sin from before you. But may they be overthrown before you. Deal with them in the time of your anger. Thus says Yahweh, go and buy a potter's earthenware jar, and take some of the elders of the people and some of the elders of the priests. Then go out into the valley of Ben Hinnom, which is by the entrance of the potsherd gate, and there call out the words that I tell you, and say, hear the word of Yahweh, O kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I am going to bring a calamity upon this place, at which the ears of everyone that hears of it will tingle. Because they have forsaken me and have made this a foreign place and have burned incense in it to other gods, that neither they nor their fathers nor the kings of Judah had ever known, and because they have filled this place with the blood of the innocent, and have built the high places of Baal to burn their sons in the fire, as burnt offerings to Baal, a thing which I never commanded or spoke of, nor did it ever come upon my heart. Therefore, behold, days are coming, declares Yahweh, when this place will no longer be called Topheth, or the valley of Ben Hinnom, but rather the valley of slaughter. I will empty out the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem to the point of destruction in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies and by the hand of those who seek their life. And I will give over their carcasses as food for the birds of the sky and the beasts of the earth. I will also make this city an object of horror and of hissing. Everyone who passes by it will be horrified and hiss because of all its slaughtering. I will make them eat the flesh of their own sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they will eat one another's flesh in the siege and in the distress with which their enemies and those who seek their life have distressed them. Sorry. And those who seek their life will distress them. Excuse me. Then you are to break the jar in the sight of the men who accompany you. And you shall say to them, thus says Yahweh of hosts, just so will I break this people and this city, even as one breaks a potter's vessel, which cannot again be repaired, and they will bury in Topheth, because there is no other place for burial. This is what I will do to the place and its inhabitants, declares Yahweh, so as to make this city like Topheth. The houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah will be defiled like the place Topheth, because of all of the houses on whose rooftops they burn incense to all of the heavenly host and pour out drink offerings to other gods. Then Jeremiah came from Topheth, where Yahweh had sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of the house of Yahweh and said to all of the people, thus says Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I am about to bring on this city and all its towns the entire calamity that I have spoken against it, because they have stiffened their necks so as not to hear my words. Then Pashur the priest, the son of Immer, who was ruling overseer in the house of Yahweh, heard Jeremiah prophesying these words, and Pashur had Jeremiah the prophet struck and put him in the stocks that were at the upper Benjamin gate, which was by the house of Yahweh. Now it happened that on the next day Pashur released Jeremiah from the stocks, and Jeremiah said to him, Pashur is not the name Yahweh has called you, but rather Magor Misabib. For thus says Yahweh, behold, I am going to make you a terror, excuse me, to yourself and to all of your friends. And while your eyes look on, they will fall by the sword of their enemies. So I will give over all Judah to the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will take them away into exile to Babylon and will strike them down with the sword. I will also give over all of the wealth of this city, all of the fruit of its labor, and all its precious things, even all of the treasures of the kings of Judah. I will give over to the hand of their enemies, and they will plunder them, take them away, and bring them to Babylon. And you, Pasha, and all who live in your house will go into captivity, and you will enter Babylon, and there you will die. And there you will be buried, you and all of your friends to whom you have prophesied lies. O Yahweh, you have enticed me, and I was enticed. You were stronger than I, and you prevailed. I have become a laughing stock all day long. Everyone mocks me. For each time I speak, I cry aloud. I call out violence and devastation, because for me the word of Yahweh has resulted in reproach and derision all day long. But if I say I will not remember him or speak any more in his name, then in my heart it becomes like a burning fire, shut up in my bones. And I am weary of holding it in, and I cannot prevail. For I have heard the bad report of many, terror on every side. Denounce him, yes, let us denounce him. All my trusted friends, keeping watch for my fall, say, perhaps he will be deceived, so that we may prevail against him and take our revenge on him. But Yahweh is with me, like a ruthless, mighty one. Therefore my persecutors will stumble and not prevail. They will be utterly ashamed because they have not prospered. With an everlasting dishonor, they will not be forgotten. Yet, O Yahweh of hosts, you who test the righteous, who see the mind of the heart, let me see your vengeance on them. For to you I have revealed my cause. Sing to Yahweh, praise Yahweh, for he has delivered the soul of the needy one from the hand of evildoers. Cursed be the day when I was born. Let the day not be blessed when my mother bore me. Cursed be the man who brought the good news to my father, saying, a baby boy has been born to you, and made him very glad. But let that man be like the cities which Yahweh overthrew without relenting, and let him hear an outcry in the morning and a shout of war at noon. Because he did not put me to death from the womb, so that my mother would have been my grave, and her womb and her womb ever pregnant. Why did I ever come forth from the womb to look on trouble and sorrow, so that my days have been spent in shame? The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh when King Zedekiah sent to him Pashur, the son of Malchijah, and Zephaniah the priest, the son of Maaseiah, saying, please inquire of Yahweh on our behalf, for Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, is warring against us. Perhaps Yahweh will deal with us according to all of his wonderful acts, so that the enemy will go up from us. And then Jeremiah said to them, thus you shall say to Zedekiah, thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, behold, I am about to turn back the weapons of war which are in your hands, with which you are warring against the king of Babylon and the Chaldeans who are besieging you outside the wall, and I will gather them into the center of this city. I myself will war against you with an outstretched hand and a strong arm, even in anger and wrath and great indignation. I will also strike down the inhabitants of this city, both man and beast. They will die of a great pestilence. Then afterwards, declares Yahweh, I will give over Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his servants and the people, even those who remain in this city, from the pestilence, the sword, and the famine, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those who seek their lives. And he will strike them down with the edge of the sword, and he will not show pity on them, nor spare, nor have compassion. You shall also say to this people, Thus says Yahweh, behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. He who inhabits the city will die by the sword and by famine and by pestilence. But he who goes out and falls away to the Chaldeans who are besieging you will live, and he will have his own life as spoil. For I have set my face against this city for evil and not for good, declares Yahweh. It will be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will burn it with fire. Thus, then say to the household of the king of Judah, hear the word of Yahweh. O house of David, thus says Yahweh, render justice every morning and deliver the person who has been robbed from the power of his oppressor. Lest my wrath go forth like fire and burn with none to extinguish it, because of the evil of their deeds. Behold, I am against you, O inhabitant of the valley, O rocky plain, declares Yahweh. You men who say, who will come down against us, or who will enter into our dwelling places? But I will punish you according to the results of your deeds, declares Yahweh, and I will kindle a fire in its forest, that it may devour all its surroundings. And that is the end of our reading for this morning. Go in the knowledge and the awareness of the presence of God with you, of his great love for you, and of his Holy Spirit dwelling in you. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray the promises and the prophecies of Scripture over them. And pray without ceasing for whatever it is that God has called you to, whatever he's given you influence over or authority over. Pray from that place of his presence, that place of stillness and rest, where you can hear his voice and know his heart, so that you know that what you're praying is coming straight from the heart of the Father. And be blessed and be a blessing.